Hello everybody, welcome to today's video. My name is Mona Chiso, and today I'm going to talk about like a significant interaction between me and my patient. So I'm just going to talk about this interaction. Sorry everywhere is dark because I had to do this video at night because I had a very busy day. I worked, so just trying to like do my assignment right away. So today talking about the significant interaction. So I had this patient, a 35-year-old gentleman that came in during the that came in for a psychotherapy session. I realized that he was like very like he was not like making words. He was like not like shy. He was looked so depressed. He was not able to engage in conversations. He had like lots of interest when you ask him questions. Like he doesn't really like his conversational. So during the interactions I realized that he doesn't like make eye contact even when you looking straight into his eyes to talk to him. He kind of share away or like kind of put his face down. So that was what was going on in this conversation or in this interaction between this patient and I. So I kept on asking him questions. I kept on asking him how his life is going, everything going on and all that. He started talking to me, he started sharing with me. I realized that he felt like hopeless. He was saying that he doesn't think that this life makes so much sense to him. He was a kind of like hopeless, kind of verbalizing things like worthlessness, a kind of things like that. That showed me that he was like a kind of depressed. So I kept quiet and I kept on listening. At some point he said to me that he feel like he's like so trapped at the stage of the life he is right now. He feel like he cannot like advance or he cannot like do anything meaningful to him, that he feels so depressed. He's so like he feels so stagnant in his life. So when he told me this thing, I felt so like I really, his vulnerability was a little bit, was a kind of palpable, like I could palpate his vulnerability. So in addition to the fact that he has all these features, like he's a kind of not engaging in conversation. Even when he engages, is a kind of like saying things that are like hopeless things, worthless things, things like that. So he's a drug user. He told me that whenever he feels like the world is against him, or whenever he feels like, he feels so saddened and things like that, so he uses drugs. Drugs are the things that makes him happy. And I felt like I felt like he's so vulnerable, like that marked like the hallmark of my interaction with him. I'm just going to talk about the impact of understanding the role of the psych mental health nurse practitioner. You find out that it's not just about being a clinician. So the psych nurse mental health the psych mental health nurse practitioner wears different hats. At this point I have to like pay attention. I have to like use active listening skills. Listening skills to be able to listen to what this gentleman was talking to me. I was able to like make him trust me, to be able to give me the information he was giving me, be able to express himself to me. I also the psych mental health nurse practitioner, not just a clinician, also try to like get rapport, get the patient engaged in the rapport, to be able to get more information from this client, from this patient. This scenario reminds me of the multidimensional role of the psych mental health nurse practitioner, which is not just the clinical role. Your ability to use like open-ended questions to get information from clients, using open-ended questions to to like trigger them to talk to you, thereby you'll be able to like get more information. Also, this interaction made me understand that mental illness is not just about, it's not just about people like with madness that present to the hospital. No, there could be a lot of people, a lot of people that looks normal, but they are passing through depression, they're passing through a lot of things going on. So also this interaction enabled me to link up mental health problems with the use of illicit drugs, because he told me that the gentleman told me, like, whenever he feels like the world is against him, or whenever he feels like worthless, he engages in drug to like ease himself of what he or she is passing through. This is to show that the use of drug and depression are linked together. So being a mental health nurse practitioner, you should be I'll be able to understand the different relationship between mental illness and also the use of illicit drugs. I'm just going to talk about my strengths and limitations. So, talking about my strengths, my ability to use active listening skills, to be able to listen to this patient, pay active attention, and be able to get the important things that I need. Also, being empathic, because for you to be a nurse, you always have to, at all times, you always have to place yourself like at the always take yourself as a patient. Like, how will you feel like if you are the same person passing this through these circumstances, passing through this situation? How would you want to be treated? So the empathic skills also help me to like be able to place myself like the patient, to be able to be like, okay, to be able to think, to be able to speak to myself, what if I'm the one passing through this situation? Again, another strength I have is that at all times I don't have to be judgmental. A medical professional is not meant to be judgmental. Like, you're not meant to be judged. Like, not just this gentleman. I could remember one of my patients that came in with suicidal tendency, telling me about telling me about how her parents are no longer her parent. I was trying to convince her, hey, no, these are your parents. They are the people you need to thrive in this life. So she was like, you're judging me. So they always feel like people are judging them. So at all times, you don't have to be judgmental. You just have to be free, open, free-minded, because when you try to judge them, they try to like, hide some important information to you, and some of them won't even show up to you anymore, because you're trying to judge them. You're making them to be the cause of the situation they are in. About my limitation, one of my limitations was like self-doubt, because sometimes there is this imposter syndrome, or there is this self-doubt that tells you that, do you think you're getting enough plan for this patient? Do you think you like providing enough information, or you're doing your best to help this patient? So I had this doubt at some point, but reminding myself that what I have at the moment was enough for my patient, that even if I'm not, like, there are some places I'm deficit of, I should seek for help. So another limitation is big over involvement. I kind of realized that at some time, always I try to like get so much involved, especially when the patient is talking and patient is not able to talk. Like you try to like prompt them to talk. No. So that's one of my limitations, which I'm working towards, to use active listening and therapeutic silence to allow them to talk and verbalize the emotions, and tell me what they want to tell me. Therapeutic use of self. So here, what I did, I was able to like be quiet therapeutically, to allow my client to express him or herself using validations while he or she is talking, so I'll be able to get enough information from him. Following this interaction, my reflection is that developing trust during very early in an interaction is very, very important because it will help you to explore the patient. It will help you to get more information from the patient. So how do you develop trust during a conversation? It's just using active listening skills to listen to the patient. You don't interrupt the patient. You don't have to be judgmental. As soon as they start telling you their stories or whatever they're telling, whatever the history they try, just you just have to use active listening skills to acknowledge that you're listening them, you're understanding what is talking about. Another thing is like being validating that their feelings is true. Whatever they are telling you, you have to validate them. You have to be like, yeah, I believe you. What you've said, if even when what they said hasn't mean any much sense, but your ability to validate them, this will help you to develop trust. This will help you to build trust in conversations, in relationships, because it will help you to like proceed. It will help you. It will help the session to be meaningful. Another reflection for future application is about flexibility. So it's important to know that every patient that comes for a therapeutic session is different and has to be handled differently. So whatever plan, whatever way, like approaches that is being used should be like individualistic. It should be flexible, because trying to narrow in what plan or trying to narrow in the session towards like the individual client's needs. Also, the one of the things that I one of the things that is relevant to me during this interactive session is that it helps me to like also interaction helped me to like reflect on my emotional abilities and professional boundaries. This will help me to be like a better clinician or a better psych MP in the future. Thank you.